We've needed a ballroom on site at the White House for ages, right? I mean, look, Trump has had his life threatened multiple times, and I think at least one of those times it could have been averted had we had a massive space to entertain at the White House. And as times get increasingly crazier with more and more violent acts of violence and threats, we need a space that for our executive government that can be used at any time, that is fully protectable, that we can have for events. So we're not in danger of losing political officials or having unwanted occurrences happen. Let's check this out. Trump is possibly facing some legal trouble with his ballroom, the amazing ballroom.
Meanwhile, the drama surrounding President Trump's $400 million ballroom still playing out, but this time it's playing out in court. Challengers say that decision to build a ballroom is up to Congress and Congress alone. But the Trump administration argues that the government is allowed to tear down portions of the White House for safety and security reasons, the safety and security of the president. Scripps News legal affairs correspondent
What's wrong with that?
Avajoy Burnett listened to the arguments unfolding in court. She joins us live now. And Avajoy, why does the Trump administration believe that this is a valid argument?
Hey there, Del. Well, an attorney for the DOJ talked about national security issues, and they referenced that there is evidence that shows that the East Wing, the old East Wing, was not secure enough to withstand a modern-day attack and protect the President of the United States, along with other senior officials. And they say for that reason, they have the authority to tear down the East Wing without congressional approval. They talked about these national security interests and the fact that they believe those interests outweigh any congressional approval or even the need to have historical preservation.
Look, Congress and the executive branch are just constantly fighting, right? When you have a president as polarizing as Trump is, and you realize that every time you try to make a decision, they're going to try and stop you, you're going to naturally look for ways of doing things where you don't have to ask for permission, just plain and simple. I think it's amazing that he's building the ballroom. Now, do I want the White House just being torn down because somebody thinks that they don't need to ask permission? Of course not. But that being said, I do see how Trump has been mistreated a lot during his presidency. And you could say, oh, okay, well, has he mistreated people? I'm not going to say that he hasn't, but can you also say that maybe he's been mistreated as well? If you can't, then you're not being objective. You're not living in the world of reality. I can acknowledge one side of it. Can you acknowledge the other? Just think about that.
Of this particular building, the East Wing that was torn down back in October. And at one point, one of the judges who was overhearing this argument, who heard the arguments in court earlier today, asked the DOJ attorney, what if there is a descendant of a slave who wanted to sue after the East Wing was torn down just because of their connection to this building, because their ancestors built the White House? And the DOJ attorney said if this person did not sue before the East Wing was torn down, they would have no standing here. Take a listen to a portion of that back and forth.
Seems very odd, by the way. I don't want it torn down because my ancestors built it, but don't you want the leader of your country that the citizens voted on to be protected? This is what I'm saying. A lot of people just make things unnecessarily hard for other people, and it makes absolutely no fucking sense.
If the suit predated the destruction, then somebody could say the demolition is going to impact my ability to see this thing that has special meaning to me, and that would be much more analogous to the environmental cases. If you don't have that chance. If that's gone and it's done, and that part of the injury is not redressed.
So I think you have answered, and the answer is no, they can't sue as long as the government goes too fast before anyone can file a lawsuit, or in fact says there's going to be a public input process and then moves immediately quickly before that process even starts.
So,
correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
Wow.
As for the National Trust, the organization who...
It is, I'm not some callous individual who just thinks there's no merit to that perspective whatsoever. I just think that It's unbelievable all the things that humans will do to occupy their time.
Brought this lawsuit against the Trump administration. They believe they have a responsibility to preserve historic buildings like the White House.
Sure.
And they said
Absolutely.
no level of national security trumps the administration's requirement to get congressional approval. We were able to hear from one of those attorneys earlier today in this hearing, and they said that the Trump administration, they need to stop all future construction of this ballroom so that they can get approval from Congress before they're able to move forward. This is a case that was heard by a 3-judge panel earlier today. This panel made up of 3 judges. They did not issue a decision. A decision could possibly come sometime down the road.
Listen, I am all for getting permission. That's what you got to do. Checks and balances, baby. That's what it's about. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. It does seem like a Trump maneuver for him to do that without asking for approval. But, you know, maybe he was doing that because he had so many things he is working on. He just gave a hard and fast answer to someone asking if we should get approval or just go ahead with it. And do I think that's okay? No, absolutely not. But I can see it happening. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will see you guys over on the LG Shirley channel. I got a hot take tonight for you guys. I'll wait and let you check it out. It's gonna upset some people. LG Shirley Raw, if you want to check it out on the LG Shirley channel, LGSHURLEY. Have a great night. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. You're the best.